Welcome back to All Folks Racing PlayStation. Welcome back to the season finale. This is round 5, race 2. That's it. That's the 10th race of the Transatlantic Cup, where the old folks raced the Ginetta G40 GT5. What an amazing car. Around 5 different tracks in the UK and now in the United States. This is the last race of the season. Race 2 is happening here at Sonoma. We already had race 1. And the winner was Darren Head. Now, race 2, let's go through the starting grid. We have 10 drivers here today. Dale Taylor, what an amazing lap in qualifying to get pole position alongside Simon Allen. So these two drivers didn't have the best performance in race 1, so they will be looking forward to race 2, followed by Diogo Silva, the championship leader, and Jorge Jesus. Darren Head, the winner of race 1, is in 5th, followed by Scott Davley. Cavallan and Gonçalo Mota are on the 4th row. John Scott and Wayne Robinson are on the 5th row, as we are going to go trackside and take you to the start of this race. The lights are on and Dale Taylor has had a good start, but Simon Allen, has had a better start. They were very well behaved last time round, at least on the first lap, as Jorge Jesus already up into 3rd place. Diogo Silva in 4th. Diogo Silva lost the position there. Oh, look at Darren Head. Darren Head is on the inside there of Diogo Silva, and this is quite an interesting battle, as these two are 1st and 2nd in the championship. Diogo Silva going defensive as Simon Allen has gone into the lead. Simon Allen has gone into the lead. We are going to go and get a few replays of the start, as Simon Allen really had a better start than Dale Taylor on the inside there of turn 1, and that was pretty much job done. Let's look at Darren Head trying to get around Diogo Silva. Simon Allen takes the lead, and Jorge Jesus challenges for 2nd. Darren there on the inside there, almost contact there between these two drivers, but Diogo then slides a little bit around and ends up defending the position. Let's go trackside again with race leader. Oh, look at the Gonçalo Mota there at the back. The blue car was running very wide in that corner, as Dale Taylor is coming under increasing pressure from Jorge Jesus. And Diogo Silva also not far behind the other Portuguese driver. There are 3 Portuguese drivers in this field. But Dale Taylor, look at Jorge Jesus, that number 22. Look at Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor is going for the lead of this race now. Dale Taylor tries to go on the outside, ends up losing momentum. Here comes Jorge Jesus into 2nd place. Dale Taylor is going to try to go around the outside. It's not normally possible. Oh, look at this. He's got great momentum out of the last corner. Look at this, they're side by side in the 1st lap, as Jorge Jesus drops down to 3rd. And then it's Diogo Silva, and Darren Head is ahead. Darren Head is ahead. Oh, Darren Head goes. Oh, Darren Head is off. Oh, this is massive for the championship. Darren Head spun. Was there contact? Is the question. We are going to have the replay of this incident, as. Look at that, there was a big battle there between Dale Taylor and Jorge Jesus. They're side by side. Diogo Silva has nowhere to go. He's trying to go in the middle, but not really any room there, as Jorge is also going defensive. Diogo goes to the outside. This opens a gap for Darren to go on the inside. Oh, and he just got out of shape, and the braking and misses. Well, everyone just misses Darren Head. And Darren Head down into 10th, and that's probably not what he wanted, as he would be out of the championship battle as it stands. John Scott in 9th, Wayne Robinson in 8th, Gonçalo Mota in... Look at that, there's more action there, as now Dale Taylor and Jorge Jesus are scrambling so much that the drivers behind are getting very close to them. And that's Diogo Silva. And now Kev Allen in 5th place. He had a good start, went ahead of Scott Davley. Scott into 6th place. But look at these nice battles here, but I'll tell you who's loving these battles. It's Simon Allen that has... Oh, Dale Taylor is again, runs wide there. but keeps the position. Another lap is complete. Lap 2 out of 15. It's a pretty short lap around the Sonoma circuit. And we've got a pretty nice group here between second and pretty much sixth, because Scott Davis is actually not that far behind. Gonçalo Mota is already a couple of seconds behind Scott. But especially this battle, Dale Taylor, Jorge Jesus, Diogo Silva and Kev Allen, that is pretty much providing the entertainment so far. Let's look at Darren Head's progress. He's still in 10th and last. Following that spin, Dale Taylor! Dale Taylor spins. Dale Taylor has lost it, and it was on his own. Yes, oh, this is the classic. He went over there and off he goes. Now, where is Dale Taylor going to rejoin the race? He is overtaken by Gonçalo Mota, also by Wayne Robinson, and maybe by John Scott if he's not careful. Dale Taylor, not what he wanted. Definitely not what he wanted, as we're now following Scott Davis. Scott is getting closer to Kev Allen. Kev up into 4th place, Diogo Silva up into 3rd. Jorge Jesus up into 2nd, and Dale Taylor has a lot of work to do. He is now in 8th place behind Gonçalo Mota and Wayne Robinson, that go up to 6th and 7th respectively. Scott Davis does not seem to be able to get any closer to Kev Allen, so the top 4, look at how much ground Jorge Jesus has gained there. The gap was 1.2 seconds, now it's half a second. Simon Allen has definitely a problem there, as Jorge is really recovering. Look at the lap times there, 122.6. Oh, look at Jorge, 121.6, 128.8 for Diogo Silva, and Kev Allen also lost a bit of time. But look at that now. From Diogo Silva's perspective, he's the championship leader. He's looking good to win the championship, as he's ahead of Darren Head. Darren still... Oh, Dale Taylor has had another problem. We are going to find out what it was. Dale was already in 8th place. The man who was on pole position is going right to the back of the leaderboard. And this was another incident, as he... Did he have any help in this incident? Doesn't seem like it. He was trying to catch Wayne Robinson and lost it there. So Darren Head up into 9th. Darren Head up into 9th. The next man up the road is John Scott. Darren not being particularly quick in the last lap, 123.3. That's not a bad time, but certainly is not the pace of the leaders. As we now see a replay of the top 3 again, with Diogo Silva's view of the battle for the lead between Simon Allen and Jorge Jesus. And Jorge is definitely putting pressure on Simon as he goes now on the inside of turn 2. Didn't quite work. Let's keep an eye on Kev Allen, as he lost a second to this trio. Kev now is slightly behind. Look at the top 3, very close together, and Jorge Jesus definitely wants that lead. Oh, running wide there, Simon Allen. Running wide, Simon Allen. We'll keep the view in the chase camera of someone, as the trackside cameras sometimes are not the best to follow the action here in this Sonoma short circuit. We'll keep an eye on Darren Head, as a bit of over revving there by a couple of drivers. Oh, Jorge Jesus is going for it. Oh, he's going for the lead. That was... can he hold it on? Can he hold it together? No, is the answer. And here comes Diogo Silva now on the inside, but he backs out of it. And Kev Allen is back. Kev Allen is back, right on the back of Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva being a bit cautious there, trying to protect the points lead at this stage. And Jorge Jesus was coming to protect the inside anyway. Kev Allen is back in the mix. Where is Scott Davis? Scott is a bit further back. He is a second, 1.1 seconds behind. Look at Kev Allen. Kev Allen is going for it on the outside there. Not the greatest overtaking spot, although it does become the inside. The gap just closes very quickly. Indeed, we'll keep an eye on the battle for the top 2. Simon Allen goes defensive, so does Diogo Silva. Try to protect that overtaking point there. So now we've got two groups of two in this race, as George is trying to find the right spot to make a move on Simon Allen. We'll keep an eye on something happened to Wayne Robinson. Something happened to Wayne Robinson. He was running 7th, and he's now shown a stand, which puts Darren Head up into 8th place, and Dale Taylor up into 9th. But something big happened to Wayne Robinson, because he lost a lot of time, and I wonder if this was assisted or unassisted, and it seems to me it was unassisted, as he clips the curb and now he's out of shape. Bang into the barrier, as he basically lost it on his own. And Dale Taylor goes up into 9th spot. Darren Head now into 8th place, but that's still not enough. He is getting closer to John Scott in 7th. John Scott up into 7th again. Not the greatest performance from John Scott. We've seen him right up there battling for wins and podiums in other races, and he's not very comfortable with his Sonoma circuit. Gonçalo Mota, who was 5th in race 1, now in 6th place, doing a good job there. Scott Davely is getting closer to Kev Allen. He's getting closer to the top 4, and the top 4 now operate in 2 separate groups of 2, because Simon Allen, and we'll get the replay from Simon Allen's perspective on the pass, as George was coming with a lot of momentum. We'll see him appearing on the chase camera very shortly. And look at that, there's going to be a white car appearing very shortly here. Oh no, we're still on the previous lap. Oh, that was on the previous lap, sorry. Simon Allen did retake the lead. Simon Allen did retake the lead. I apologize, I was mixing up. I wasn't sure how much we had rewound due to Wayne Robinson's troubles, but the battle does continue. It is Simon Allen in the lead. Simon Allen has led every lap of this race. He is at the end of lap 5 now, on lap 6, and Jorge Jesus is coming on the outside, which is probably not going to work really, as now Diogo Silva and Kev Allen are back into contention, and George is trying to find a way desperately to go side by side with Simon. It just doesn't seem to work anywhere, as Simon is driving very cleanly, as now look at this, the top 4 are again nose to tail. We'll keep an eye on this battle through the lens of Kev Allen, who is in 4th place. It's the easiest way to see all the top 4. It seems to me that Simon Allen and Jorge Jesus have better pace than Diogo Silva, as they seem to, especially in the first sector, get a bit of a gap. The problem is that when they start to scramble with one another, that just makes them lose time, and Diogo and Kev are able to be right there, but so far no overtaking moves, except that one we've seen from Jorge Jesus that overtook briefly for the lead of the race. Here comes George again, and Simon surely is going to get defensive. Here comes Kev Allen. Here comes Kev Allen, and goes up into 3rd place, as Diogo Silva now drops to 4th. It kind of works okay for Diogo Silva as long as he is ahead of Darren Head. Darren is up into 7th, so John Scott down into 8th place, but Diogo still in 4th place. Should be enough to win this Transatlantic Cup over 10 races. This is the 10th race out of 10. And Kev Allen, now what can he do? He's already won this season, and he seems to be... Look at Jorge Jesus now. Oh, Jorge has had a good exit there. Or did he know? Because he was sliding a little bit at the exit. And look at that, he's drifting his way. Absolutely brilliant racing now. Not the fastest way to go around that corner. Here comes Kev Allen on the outside there of that chicane. Again, not the obvious overtaking point. Simon Allen, Jorge Jesus, Kev Allen, Diogo Silva, the top 4. Where is Scott Davis? Scott is... falling a little bit backwards. Here he's 1.5 seconds from these drivers, as now the big battle is between Jorge Jesus and Kev Allen, and this seems to be really the only major clean overtaking point that we have in this Sonoma circuit. Kev Allen is going for it. He's too far behind, surely. Yes, he is too far behind, but oh, Jorge Jesus is messes up the braking point. Here comes Diogo Silva, nicely done. Goes back into 3rd place. Or does he? Because Cavalli is coming back at him now. They're going side by side. They basically cross the line at the same time. And I wonder how hard is Diogo going to attack here. But he does keep the position into turn 2. Runs wide, but comes back to defend. Here comes Cavalli on the outside of the next corner. But surely this is difficult. Runs side by side here. He's going to run out of road. Yes, oh no. He's got, oh, they run side by side through the corner. Kev did leave room. Nicely done by Kev. Oh, and Scott Davely is there. Where did Scott Davely come from? Here, as you can see, as they run side by side, they're basically just wasting time, losing speed. They run side by side through turn 1. We'll get a replay from Scott's perspective. Now Kev is on the outside, Diogo is on the inside, but now runs wide. Here comes Cavalli. Now Kev is very committed here, even if he is on the dirty part of the track. He's basically off the track at one point, but they managed to run side by side there. But Cavalli now has to defend from Scott Davely, as the top 2 are now checking out from these 3. Gonçalo Mota is 7 seconds behind, and he will be under pressure from Darren Head in no time. So Darren is going to be up to 6. The problem is that once he's done that, assuming he can go around Gonçalo, he's going to have 10 seconds to recover in 7 laps, which even for Darren Head standards, it's probably a little bit too much. Let's look at this battle, as Darren Head is really... we'll keep an eye for other battles behind, but John Scott seems to be running on his own, so is Del Teller in 9th and Wayne Robinson in 10th. We'll keep an eye on the battle for the top 4 as Cavalli continues. Top 5, I should say. And here comes Darren Head. Can he do it? Not quite. Gonçalo Mota locks up, which may allow Darren Head to go now on the inside, but he's lost a bit of momentum there. Let's keep a quick eye on the battle there, as now it's Cavalli that is after Diogo Silva. Simon Allen is 2/10 of a second. We'll keep an eye on the battle for the lead, because it seems to be hitting up. Here comes Darren Head now. Oh, with contact there. A bit of pushing and shoving, but I think Darren Head may have completed the pass. Yes, he did. Darren Head up into 6th place, and he does seem to have more pace than Gonçalo. So Darren, now can he do anything about Scott Davely? He's 10 seconds behind. He basically did a time that was only half a second faster than Scott in the last lap, and there are 6 laps to go at the line. Let's keep an eye for the battle for the lead, and all these shenanigans means that the top 2 actually have checked out 2 seconds. They are 2 seconds ahead of this group that is now formed by Diogo Silva and Cavalli, with Scott Davely dropping a second behind. But anything can change, and probably still has the time to change, as Jorge Jesus is definitely not happy with this 2nd place, and will want to put pressure on Simon Allen. The last 6 laps of the season. Oh, look at this. Jorge Jesus a bit of pushing and shoving there, but ends up going ahead of Simon Allen. We'll get a replay of that again, and try to come up with our point of view. Was he too far behind? Well, he was, yes, probably a bit too far behind, and really relied on contact to go through. So a bit of a slightly more heated battle here at Sonoma. Let's see what Simon Allen has to say about that in the remaining 5 laps of this race. Where is Cavalli? Cavalli is again back at it. Cavalli is back at the challenge for the podium. Scott Davely has fallen behind. Darren Head has opened the gap from Gonçalo Mota. Del Teller, by the way, is up into 7th because John Scott has had a problem. John Scott has had a problem, and we will try to rewind to see what it was, because it seems to me that he lost a lot of time. He was 8th, and now he's 10th. Not only he's 10th, he's also 12 seconds behind 9th place. So well, he was already, well, it seems to be two separate incidents, and this is sometimes the problem with this car and circuit, is that you basically have an off, which is what John had already lost time, well, a position to Dale Taylor. Now he is going to go into the gravel. Well, a bit of a weird incident there, as he seems to just be knocking down boards for no reason. And then he is going to have another incident. Now he's already in 10th, but he's trying to get to Wayne Robinson. But then he's going to lose it just round about here. Well, now this seems to be a bigger problem than just losing it. It seems he might have be having problems with his controls. And John Scott is probably going to try to finish the race, but he is now in 10th place and 13 seconds behind 9th place. So Wayne Robinson up into 9, Dale Taylor up into 8, Gonçalo Mota in 6th place, trying to well, tried not to lose it. Oh, he's lost it, didn't he? Oh, and he's lost it big time. Oh, he saves it at the last minute, but well, all over the place there. Gonçalo Mota in 7th place, losing a couple of seconds in the process. Darren Head in 6th, but not doing better times than Scott Davis. Scott in 5th place. And now we are going to have 5 laps to go at the line. And Jorge Jesus is the race leader. And Diogo Silva and Cavalan are recovering some ground. Now this is going to be the first lap that Jorge is going to lead. It's going to be lap 10. Sam Nouwen led the first 9 laps. There are 5 laps to go as we speak. And Jorge is looking good for another victory here. Diogo Silva looking good in 3rd place. He is ahead of Darren Head. He's got 11 seconds advantage, so unless he makes a big mistake and Darren goes through, I think still, if Diogo does not finish too far behind Darren, especially given the fact that it's unlikely that Darren will win this race, Diogo is going to be the champion here in this Transatlantic Cup. As we are now 4 laps to go at the line when they next cross the line. Scott Davis is falling behind almost 2 seconds now from Cavalan, so it seems to me that the battle for the lead is between these 4 drivers. There is, oh, John Scott has retired from the race. John Scott has retired from the race. He was parked there on the left. And that's a bit of a shame for John, who started the season with a win, ends the season with a retirement. Of course, drivers can... Oh, and Jorge Jesus has locked up there. Jorge Jesus has locked up. What can Sam Nouwen do? But I was saying drivers can drop their 2 worst results, or well, better said, they can take advantage and count their 8 best results of the season. John Scott certainly is going to drop this 0-point scoring here at Sonoma today. Still a good championship for John Scott, and let's see how he does next season also in the GTE, as by the time of this replay the next season has been decided with the 4 GTE car, perhaps the obvious choice in GTE, but let's see how it will go with the races at Indy Road Course, at Portimão, at Fuji, and a couple of other circuits which I cannot remember right now, but should be good racing. Perhaps not as close as the Ginetta, but it will be interesting to see nonetheless, as now things seem to have stabilized. 3 laps to go at the line, and Cavalan seems to be losing a bit of steam here, because he is dropping back. Oh, look at Sam Nouwen. Sam Nouwen, definitely this is not over. Definitely this is not over. Sam Nouwen is very quick in the last sector, especially in the last corner, compared to Jorge Jesus. The question is, can he translate that speed into an overtaking opportunity? And it seems to me that maybe another dive is expected here, as he as a bit of payback potentially to that a bit of a dive bomb that George used to take the lead. Now Simon, that's very, very good exit from turn one. Now Simon Allen goes into the lead. George sees him, gives him space. Now this is absolutely brilliant racing. And I'll tell you what, who's living this must be Diogo Silva as well, because he's getting closer. Now Simon Allen is going to go on the inside here. No, he's not. Oh, they touch. Contact. Oh, and Simon Allen does give the payback there as a contact to get the lead back. And well, we'll take the NASCAR view that George used contact to take the lead. So, well, fair enough if Simon uses contact to retake the lead. Now the question is, there's going to be 2 laps to go at the line. The battle for the lead is heating up, and I'm not entirely certain this is not going to end in tears, as they have literally 2 laps to go. And now Simon Allen is going to go defensive surely, as Jorge Jesus may think about another dive bomb. Now Simon Allen didn't have the ideal line there. They're going side by side. They're going side by side here. Let's look at Diogo Silva's view of this battle, as he's now in 3rd place, trying to protect the points lead with only a couple of laps to go. As now surely George is going to dive bomb again. Yes, he is, and this time around he was oh, the contact between the 2 drivers again. Contact between the 2 drivers, and now here comes Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva is trying to go on Simon Allen. Simon Allen says no way, Jose, as he takes the racing line. But I think this time around we'll get a replay of this. I think I would say George was probably more entitled than last time, as he was coming, well, he was very close behind, and I think this was a genuine move that even with contact was perhaps more allowed. He was coming from more momentum, but Simon Allen had to defend very quickly, because all of a sudden he was going to lose 2 positions in a row. Jorge Jesus on lap 14 is now the leader. Now how many more lead changes will we see? There's 1.5 laps to go, and Kev Allen has lost momentum. He's in 4th place, so now it's the top 2 battle. Oh, and look at this, more contact again, as Simon Allen, now the gloves are off completely, as Simon Allen hits the back of Diogo Silva. He's trying to find a way to safely overtake one of them, but it's really not possible. And possibly Diogo is going to hold on to that 3rd place, which is all what he needs to clinch this championship. Look at Simon Allen now. Simon Allen is going to try on the inside there. He's going to try on the inside, and shuts the door. Jorge Jesus shuts the door. Now they're going to go for the last lap. This is incredible racing as George goes defensive. Simon Allen goes on the outside. Diogo Silva is observing this battle as they now cross the line for the penultimate time, the last lap of the season. And guess what? We have 3 cars within half a second. That's what we have with this Ginetta Cup. The last lap of the season, the last lap of the race. And who is going to be? Simon Allen, Jorge Jesus, or Diogo Silva. Simon Allen thinks about it, but does not go. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's contact. Oh, Jorge Jesus made a mistake. Contact. Oh! It ended up in tears, but not the way we expected. Simon Allen did not try to overtake, but George made a mistake. Let's look at this again, as George is trying to defend, but oh, he's missed the racing. Oh, he did a 2-wheeler there. He did a 2-wheeler, and Simon Allen nowhere to go. Simon Allen presses the reset button. Now who is going to be? Is it Jorge Jesus or well, Jorge Jesus is going to be ahead of Simon Allen. And I'll tell you what, Kev Allen has recovered to 2nd, and he's right on Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva had to take avoiding action there. Now the last lap of the season, Kev Allen all of a sudden is a contender again. Look at Scott Lively up into the podium position. Now there's going to be a few more corners to go, and Diogo Silva may win the race and the championship. What a twist on the last lap, not the way we expected. It was Jorge Jesus that made a mistake there on his own, nothing to do with Simon Allen. He did a corner on 2 wheels, lost momentum. Simon Allen nowhere to go. He ended up 4th and 5th, but now it's Diogo Silva who is going to win the race and the championship. Unless Kev Allen can do something, I don't think so. I don't think Kev Allen has any possibility to win this race. Diogo Silva is going to win the last race of the season, followed by Kev Allen. 3rd is going to be Scott Lively. 4th is going to be Jorge Jesus. 5th is going to be Simon Allen, who led most of this race. Sixth is going to be Darren Head. Look at Darren Head, how much he has recovered. What a recovery, but not enough this time round. He's still leading the points in the Piston Cup, Darren Head, and it's going to be quite difficult for any other driver to get there. Seventh is going to be Gonçalo Mota. Eighth is going to be Dale Taylor. And ninth, look at Dale Taylor. From pole position, a bit of a disappointment for Dale Taylor there as he finishes the race in eighth. And Wayne Robinson, look at Wayne Robinson, he's getting very close to Dale Taylor, and not the race that Dale also expected. What a season it has been for all Fox Racing PlayStation. Very, very big change in this championship with the single car racing. Definitely an amazing season with the Ginetta, and we hope to see more amazing racing in the next season. 10 races with the 4 GTE. That should be a slightly different type of racing, but nonetheless very, very close between the usual suspects, with a few challengers also challenging for wins and podiums. We have the likes of Dale Taylor, he's done really well in the Endurance League in GTE. We have the likes of Diogo Almeida, also very competitive in GTE. We have Darren Hand and Kev Allen. They have done hours and hours and hours of endurance racing with that car. And of course then Simon Allen, Diogo Silva, Scott Davely, and all the other drivers here, Wayne Robinson, Gonçalo Mota, John Scott, and a few others that were not here today. We do hope to see everyone in the next season. Until then, it's goodbye.